Maybe I'm putting myself in trouble by writing this, but here it goes. I'm a graffiti artist. It's the skill I've turned into a way of life, a way to express everything I feel. My work is about creeping through the city at night and carving out my identity on forgotten walls. People call us all kinds of names, criminals, delinquents. But in the middle of all that noise, there's something deeper, my art and my identity. To me, graffiti isn't just writing, it's a conversation. Whatever I want to say, I say it through these empty spaces, hoping someone out there will see it and pause for a second. Maybe even think. That night changed everything. It became the most horrifying experience of my life. And honestly, this story might not be just mine. It raises questions that may never be answered. That night, I took my childhood friend Lucas along. We had both grown up on the streets, shaping our little world with spray cans and color. Our bond was strong, built on years of trust, mischief, and survival. Lucas was always the careful one, but he never left my side no matter how reckless things got. We were headed to a new location that had been giving us an eerie vibe for weeks. It was an abandoned railway line with an old freight train sitting lifeless, untouched for years. The place felt like a forgotten cemetery where time had quietly buried all its memories. I pulled out my spray can and started working. Everything was normal. First tag, then the second, then the third. Graffiti has always been my therapy, and I just wanted to breathe life into that dying space with color. But as I was about to finish my fourth tag, a sound broke the silence. A hollow clink, like someone picked up an empty can and threw it. I turned to Lucas and asked, "Was that you?" He shook his head and immediately started looking around. Nothing. Then came another sound, a raspy, angry voice. "You think this is your gallery? Get the hell out of here." The voice was so loud we both froze. We looked around, hearts racing, but saw no one. A deep fear swept through us. Then suddenly, a loud bang, like a gunshot. We didn't say a word. Our eyes met, and we just ran. My heart was thudding so loud I felt like it would rip through my chest. That night we survived, but the fear didn't leave me. We made it home, but the voice, the bang, the chill in my spine, it stayed with me like a shadow stitched to my soul. Weeks later, I decided to go back. I had to know what was really going on there. Lucas came with me. The place looked almost the same. Wild grass, rusted metal, the same heavy stench of abandonment. But something had changed. All of my tags, every single one, had been covered in red paint. It looked like someone had splashed blood over them. A tight knot formed in my chest. I turned to Lucas. "What the hell is this?" He didn't answer, just looked down. Then we noticed the open boxcar nearby. Inside was a disturbing scene, an old chair, ropes, and heavy chains. And the entire space stank of bleach, the kind of smell that makes your nose burn. I pulled out my phone to take a picture. That's when we heard it. From behind the trees, "That picture won't come out nice, kid." A chill shot through my bones. I turned sharply. No one. My hands trembled. The phone dropped from my grip. We didn't wait. We ran. Again. I haven't been back since, but that night is burned into my memory. I still don't know who or what was there. Was it someone living there, or something else entirely? All I know is, that place wasn't meant to be visited. It wasn't abandoned. It was claimed. And whatever was watching us didn't want to be disturbed. Even now when I feel like creating, I find myself thinking about that place. Some fears never really go away. Some secrets stay in the dark, right where they want to be. My name is Jerome. I work nights at one of New York's oldest subway stations as a janitor. The job's simple: clean, report anything broken, and stay out of trouble. My shift starts at 10 p.m. and ends around 4 a.m. Most people think night is peaceful, but for me it's the hour when silence grows loud and shadows breathe. It started last summer. That was the first time I was sent to clean Platform 13. It had been shut down for years, considered unsafe and structurally unsound. None of us ever went down there, ever. But that night my supervisor called me over. "Jerome," he said, not even looking me in the eyes. "Head down to the lower track. Just need a quick sweep and report. Orders from above." There was hesitation in his voice, almost fear. Still, I grabbed my flashlight, broom and mask and headed toward the rusty stairwell marked Platform 13. Every step down groaned under my weight like it was warning me, "Don't come closer." The stench hit me halfway down, a mix of rust, mold, and something else. Something rotting. When I reached the bottom, darkness swallowed everything. I turned on my flashlight, a faint beam barely cutting through the thick, musty air. I began sweeping. Dust spiraled in the air. That's when I felt it. I wasn't alone. There was a faint sound. Footsteps behind me, slow and deliberate. I spun around. Nothing. I kept going, but the air grew colder, heavier. And then a whisper right beside my ear. "Are you here to replace them too?" My heart jumped to my throat. I froze, looked around. No one. My flashlight flickered and died. Panic gripped me. I shook it hard, slapped it. The light came back. Weak, twitchy. That's when I saw it. In the far corner of the platform, a door slightly ajar. A strange pull, like curiosity mixed with dread, led me toward it. Inside, I found a forgotten storage room. Broken chairs, old boxes, and a rusty locker stood in the center. I stepped forward, and the moment I opened the locker, a cold hand grabbed my wrist from inside. I screamed, but no sound came out. I pulled back with all my strength, finally breaking free. My heart was pounding out of my chest. I turned and ran, but when I reached the stairs, they were gone. Just a blank concrete wall. I was trapped. I didn't black out. I remember everything. But when I opened my eyes next, I was lying outside the main platform. EMTs and police circled around me. "You've been missing for 3 days, JeyRoom," one officer said. "We found you unconscious outside Platform 13. The whole thing's locked shut." They didn't believe what I told them. Hell, I wasn't even sure it was real. I tried to forget, avoided that area, never walked near it. But something followed me home. At night, I'd hear whispers through my walls. Dreams of a mirror and someone inside it. Someone wearing my face, but with glowing red eyes and a twisted smile. One night I saw the figure standing at the end of my hallway. Not moving, just watching. I began digging. I found old subway records, some dating back to the 1950s. And in one report from 1952, I discovered something chilling. 6 workers vanished from Platform 13, all janitors, all doing night shifts. None were ever found. There was a single line in one file, handwritten by a retired worker. "Platform 13 is a doorway. Once you open it, you invite what's waiting." I checked the station cameras. Footage from the previous night showed Platform 13 completely empty, until at 3:03 a.m., a shadowy figure walked across the screen. No ID, no heat signature. Then it vanished into thin air. My supervisor asked if it was me. I told him no, but he didn't believe me. The mirror. The dreams got worse. I saw myself trapped inside that locker, banging, screaming, while the other version of me, the one with red eyes, walked freely in my life. Then I found a video on my phone I didn't remember recording. It showed me, standing in the mirror, not blinking, not breathing, just smiling. Behind me, the storage door creaked open, and something stepped out. I knew then, it wasn't just a haunting. I had been replaced. Returned to 13, I went back. This time I took a GoPro, flashlight, and a body cam connected to my laptop upstairs. I descended into Platform 13. The door was already open. Inside the locker, I found the mirror again, and in it, my real reflection screamed at me from the inside. The red-eyed version stepped out. It touched the mirror's surface and smiled. "You're free to leave," as it said, "because I'm staying." Then it stepped into the darkness. When I tried to run, I tripped, hit my head. My friends call me an adventure freak, and maybe they're not wrong. Since childhood, I've been obsessed with exploring old places, traveling alone, and especially train hopping along railway tracks. Some people call it madness, But for me, it was a way to disconnect from the world. As I grew older, this passion only deepened. But one incident changed the course of my entire life. It was a hot and tiresome day. The sun was blazing in full glory, and the wind was dead still. I packed a few water bottles in my bag, a pocket torch, and my phone, and set off. My destination was an old, abandoned railway line. I had heard about a long tunnel there that had been closed for years. Some people claimed it was cursed, but for me it was just another adventure. By noon I reached the location. The tracks were rusted and wild bushes growing between them proved no train had passed that way in years. Suddenly I saw a freight train approaching from a distance. It surprised me. How could a train run on this forgotten line? Perhaps it was being used for special cargo transfers. Without thinking too much, I decided to jump onto the last coach. My heart was pounding like crazy, as if something inside me was trying to stop me. But my stubbornness won. As the train entered the tunnel, a strange silence engulfed everything. The sudden shift from the blinding sunlight to complete darkness swallowed me whole. I quickly pulled out my phone and turned on the torch. A thin beam of light stretched ahead and then disappeared into the shadows. The tunnel had a weird atmosphere, damp walls, dripping water from the ceiling, and a faint, musty smell that crept into every breath. I was sitting there observing my surroundings when suddenly I felt something touch my foot. I jerked it back and immediately stood up. "Who's there?" My voice echoed off the tunnel walls. I swept the torchlight across the ground, but there was nothing. My heartbeat quickened. As soon as the train emerged from the tunnel, I jumped off. I hurt my foot a little while landing, but I didn't care. All I wanted now was to go back. But I realized the only way back was through that same tunnel. Returning to the belly of that dark beast now felt like a terrifying nightmare. I played a gunshot sound from my phone, thinking it might help scare off any animal or person that might be lurking. But deep inside, a strange fear had started to settle. I stepped into the tunnel again, slowly. With every step, my heartbeat grew louder. The tunnel's atmosphere felt even more sinister than before. As I moved forward, I suddenly saw a shadow, a complete human shape, leaning against the wall, completely still. I froze. My breath caught in my throat. The torchlight fell directly on it, but it didn't move, as if it wasn't really there, and yet it was. I rubbed my eyes and looked again. It was still there. "Who are you?" I asked, gathering my courage. No response. Suddenly, the shadow slowly merged into the wall, like it had never existed. My legs began to tremble, and the torch in my hand shook uncontrollably. I turned and ran. Running in the dark isn't easy. I kept stumbling, but it felt like my life depended on it. Somehow, I made it out of the tunnel and collapsed onto the grass. My chest was heaving like a bellows. I lay there for a while, then I stood up and walked home without looking back. That incident changed my life. That night, that shadow, that tunnel, they're all trapped inside my mind. Even now, when I close my eyes, that shadow appears before me. I never went train hopping again after that day. The tunnel still exists, but I've never seen anyone go near it. Maybe someone, or something, lives there and doesn't want its silence disturbed. Or maybe that silence is its voice.